Howdy champs, my name is Mohit and people. Today I'm going to talk about Bootstrap 3, the latest version, 3.2.0. What exactly is it? Bootstrap is the most popular HTML, CSS, JS framework for developing responsive mobile-first projects on the web. In fact, if this sounds technical, I'll make it very simple for you through a demonstration. Right. So let's start working with Bootstrap, which completely changes the way you actually code out your web pages. So let's start. I'll be working with HTML5 and I'm using Dreamweaver 6, which is Zen coding enabled. I'm going to press Ctrl plus comma to expand the code. Alright, Zen coding is a code assist plugin. Next, I need a meta tag to scale the web pages properly. Let me just bring it in. I'm going to push it out here. Okay, I also will need some content delivery network or CDNs to link up to the latest Bootstrap version 3.2.0. Let me get them in too. Okay, let's paste it out here. So we are tying up with the Bootstrap minified CSS file and a theme, CSS theme, right, which is an optional theme. And this is the compiled minified CSS version. Through the link tags, we are tying up with these two files. We also need two JS files, JavaScript files. Let me bring them in too, and place them just above the closing body tag people out here. Alrighty. So script tag tying up with the latest jQuery version 1.11.0 minified and compiled and minified JavaScript file. Bootstrap min.js. Now this was a necessary step. Now we can actually start working with Bootstrap. So in the title, let's say Bootstrap 3.0. Okay, so let's get inside the body of the document and let's start using custom components, custom inbuilt pre-built classes. But even before that, I'm gonna push in a div with a pre-built or inbuilt class of container. Container is it's a Bootstrap specific class, people. Allows you to add in a fixed width responsive centered block. Yeah, there's another option, container dash fluid, that occupies the entire width. But for for our example, I'm going to just confine myself to container, a fixed width, not the full width, block, centered block. Right. I'm going to push in a comment which says end of container. Right. Okay. Now this didn't actually look correct. Now this does look correct. Okay, now as I said, this is a fixed width block, responsive block. Let's see if we can see anything at all right now, and let's take up a preview, a browser preview in Firefox. Well, nothing at all. Although we have a centered block somewhere out here, we'll see it as soon as we add some content inside the container. I'm going to start off with Jumbotron. What exactly is Jumbotron? Jumbotron allows you to add mega-sized headers. Okay, so we'll be using the HTML5 element header, opening closing header, and I'm going to give it a class of Jumbotron. Right, earlier this used to be called Hero with the earlier version. Okay, and inside the Jumbotron, in fact, let's save it and let's preview the web page now to see if any difference has been made. Okay, so this is the Jumbotron, people. It's a it's a kind of a box with some shadow rounded, and yes, it is responsive, as you can see. Cool. I'm gonna push in an h1 element, so h1 Control plus comma to expand the code, and I am a Jumbotron. At the same time, let's have a paragraph going. I am a para, and let's have a button going. So we'll be using the link tag, so href attribute, and taking us to nowhere actually, a dummy href attribute. Actually, let it take, let it point to my website. So http:// Alright, then we're gonna give it a class of button, and then button primary dash primary. This is gonna add some color, right? And also button, let's make it large, a large button, LG. Yep. Now button, button primary, button large, these are all pre-built classes that come along with Bootstrap 3. And then I should write quality lessons out here and close up the anchor tag. Let's save the web page. Let's bring up Firefox. Let's refresh to see the changes that have been made to the Jumbotron. So quite clearly it says I'm a Jumbotron, I'm a para. Yes, mistake out here. I am a paragraph. I'm a para. Okay. Right. I'm a para, and there, this is the button. It takes you to my website. Cool. Now let's see if it is actually responsive. Yes, it is. See, the main reason why we actually use Bootstrap is to make your web pages responsive, but this is something that we are gonna hold back for some another day. I'm not gonna dwell too deep into that. I'm not gonna dwell into it actually. I'm gonna focus more on the new components, new classes, the pre-built classes that come along with Bootstrap 3. Right. So we're gonna learn more about that. Right. The next element, or the next component, is pre. Right. What does pre actually do? So we have a pre-opening and a closing tag out here. Let's save the changes up. Let's bring up Firefox. Let's refresh, and you see that I get a bordered block or a bordered section. That's all that has happened. But you see, this is a special kind of a block, a special kind of a section that does not, you can actually use to push in multiple lines of code, that you can push multiple lines of a paragraph too. It's a special kind of a block or a section that allows you to preserve the white space. I'll tell you what that means. And the lines actually do not wrap. And it can also be set to be pre-scrollable through a class called pre-scrollable. Let me show that to you. If I add the class pre-scrollable like this, and let's refresh, let's see the changes. You see a scroll bar, only along the y-axis, a vertical scroll bar appear out here. It's gonna have a fixed width, a max, fixed width of, fixed height of 350, a max height of 350, as we'll soon see. Okay. Let me add in a few paragraphs. So let's say P control comma. I am para 1, and something, whatever. Just some text filler. Copy this bit. Let's paste it several times. Save the changes up. Bring up Firefox. Let's refresh. Now this is what is actually making it scrollable, but only along the y-axis, as you can very clearly see out here. And the max height has been set to a 350 px, beyond which it has to scroll. Now I was saying this is a special kind of section that is honors or preserves the white space. So I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to come out here. I'm going to press tab a few times. Let's save the changes up, bring the browser up, let's refresh, and you see the white space has actually been preserved. You try it in any other section, any other box, try it in Jumbotron, it's not going to work. Okay, so to preserve the white space, we need a pre-element. Okay, not only that, I'm going to actually insert a little more of the white space to see if it actually auto wraps. It shouldn't. This is the speciality of this section. Alrighty, so you see it has not wrapped. In fact, it's added a scroller out here too, a scroll bar out here, and it has not wrapped. So that's what exactly is pre. Okay, so let's move on and create yet another component. Okay. Now Dreamweaver is just taking some time to respond. Okay, all's good now. So just after the pre, I'm gonna dig a well. well is a so a div with a class of well. Well, what does it actually do? We'll soon see. Let's save the changes up and bring the browser up. Let's refresh. Let's see the component called well. You see, just another boxy structure. Okay, so what does it actually do? Just just highlights. Creates if you read the documentation, just creates a sunken effect. Just sections out or highlights something. That's it. Some content. Right. So now this can be a well LG, a well MD, or a well SM. SM small, LG large, MD medium. Let's see what I mean by that. Let's get back to Dreamweaver. Before I show you these classes LG, MD, SM, etc., let's add in some content. Yep, I am some content and some more content. Yep, so let's save and then add the class well LG, a large well. Bring the browser up, let's refresh and see the change. I'm some content. Ignore the spelling. Okay, see the large well. I'm gonna make it SM. Okay, let's change the pre-built class to SM. Let's see what kind of a change we have now. Let's see the changes that actually reflect on a refresh. I actually see the padding drop down. Yep, smaller well. Righto. So we've talked about pre, we've talked about jumbotrons. Let's talk about panels now. This is interesting. I like panels. Okay, another new kind of a section. So let's create a panel. So div with a class of a panel. Let's see if this by itself does anything at all. Refresh. No changes at all, nothing appears. But as soon as I add a class, and which class should I be adding? Let's say panel info, so applying multiple classes. So panel panel dash info. Let's see how this actually affects the equation. Let's refresh. Okay, a thick blue colored line, nothing much out there, but things will start taking shape very soon. Every panel should have a panel heading, a panel body, and then it actually starts to make more sense, as I'm about to show you. Okay, so this time let me just quickly get in some code. a copy and a paste, just to make things a little snappy. Okay, so we have another div with a class of panel heading, says I am the heading, and then we have another div with a class of panel body, says I am the body, and let's also create a third one. Okay, and let's give it a class of panel footer. Righto, and let's save the changes up. Let's bring the browser up and let's refresh to see okay, I'm the heading, there's something wrong. Let me just check what exactly is wrong. So class panel, okay, this division is supposed to close down below out here, because the panel needs to contain the heading, the body, and the footer, and the footer is spelled F-O-O-T-E-R. so the panel opens out here, closes out here, contains the panel heading, body, and the footer. Now this makes more sense to us, right? Let's bring the browser up, let's refresh, and hopefully this time things will look a lot better. So which indeed they look. So I am the heading, I am the panel body, and I am the footer. Now this is kind of looking a little funny. So what exactly is wrong out here? Let me just check. Okay, this division I have not closed it properly, so yeah, this needs to be closed this way and this needs to be closed this way. Just mucked up everything. Okay, hopefully this time round everything will be perfect. Yes, indeed. So this is the panel heading, this is the panel body, and this is the panel body, and this is the panel footer. So since this is the panel footer, let's change this to footer, right? Okay, and you see this class panel info, we have two classes out here, panel and panel info, can be something like panel primary. Let's see, this is another option. Let's see this theme out. Let's see the thematic change. You see the background color actually changed. It even could be panel warning. Let's see the background change this time again. Yeah. Okay. Now let's add more content to the panel body. This is where the panel body is. How about a block quote? Let's see how block quotes actually appear. Block, control plus comma to expand, and let's say rest before you get tired. Okay, let's save the changes up, let's bring the browser up, let's refresh. So we have a block quote out here, and you see there's a vertical band like structure out here. This is again, the Bootstrap element behaves a little differently. It's not the normal block quote element, it's a Bootstrap block quote element. So this is the reason why we get a gray colored band, a vertical band out here. I can even add a footer to the block quote this way. So a footer, control plus comma, and let's say Dale Carnegie said that, rest before you get tired. Okay, and bring the browser up, let's refresh. Okay, Dale Carnegie, and you see this long minus, a big minus out here, because again because of the way footer behaves with Bootstrap. Okay, I can even apply a class to Bootstrap called reverse. It's block quote reverse, I'm sorry, and let's see how this actually affects things. Let's refresh to see the changes that happen, and you see the block quote has been pushed on to the extreme right, so it's been floated right. Okay, what else would I want to show you? Let's show you how the definition list actually behaves. So let's say a DL which contains definition term plus a a definition description. Let's say into two of these, control plus comma to expand the code, and let's say sugar, rather let's say fat, and in the description, fats don't make you fat, at least not the good ones. They actually increase your thermogenesis or evapore metabolism. It's a myth that fats make you fat, not the good ones at least. And then let's say another definition term. How about sugar? Sugar makes you fat. Now that's a fact. This sugar, the white poison, actually makes you fat. Makes you fat. Don't drink your liquid calories. Don't drink your liquid sugar calories, people. Sugar really makes you fat. It's addictive. It's a slow poison. It's liquid death, as per the latest research. Okay, so let's see how things look like right now in the browser. Let's bring up the browser Firefox and see the kind of changes. Okay, actually I needed to push the definition list outside the block quote. I beg your pardon. Yeah, let's take this out and take it out of the block quote. Push it out here. Right. I'm still within the panel body, and let's refresh this time to see the changes that have taken place. Okay, fats don't make you fat. Sugar makes you fat. Fats, actually the good fats don't make you fat. They rev up your thermogenesis. That's a fact. Okay, so now I'm going to add a class called DL horizontal, a pre-built inbuilt class, people, specific to Bootstrap 3, and let's see the kind of changes that happen right now. I'm going to refresh. Okay, suddenly you find that this is the definition term, this is the definition description, and see the kind of change that has actually happened. They are side by side in line. Okay, so people, today I've actually shown you a lot of components, new components that come along with Bootstrap 3, specific only to Bootstrap 3, like Jumbotron, Swells, Pre, that doesn't allow the content to wrap, usually used for multiple lines of code, allows you to preserve the white space. Okay, we have seen wells, we have seen buttons, we have seen panels, and we have seen definition lists. So although Bootstrap is almost always used to make your web pages responsive, is something that we haven't focused on a lot today, but I actually focused on new classes, pre-built classes, pre-built inbuilt components. Okay, we'll do the the responsive part some other day, some other time. So people, I hope you found this information useful. You have a good day. Bye bye. Peace. Hey, welcome back. I was about to leave you, and then I thought that I had actually missed on something really important. I want to show you a class that's a lovely class that manipulates the images really well. But even before I show you how to do that, I need an image. Let me bring up an image from the local files and push it out here just after the definition list element. Okay, I should be using the alternate text. I'm just skipping it for now for convenience, but you should not. Okay, now that we have the image out here, let's save the changes up. Okay, bring up the browser and let's refresh to see the changes. Okay, so in the panel, in the panel body, I see an image now. Now I can do a lot with this image. I can use few classes that manipulate it so very well. Okay, the first change that I'm going to show you is to use with the use of a class called image responsive. Okay, let's save the changes up. It does what it says, people. It actually makes the image quite responsive. Okay, so if I've already saved the changes, you should see that it's responsive now. So with 100% height auto, basically, see, it's responding to the width change. Cool. I can also set it to image rounded. Let's see the change after saving the changes. Actually, we aren't able to see the change simply because it rounds off the image, but since the background of the panel is white and the image is also white, it's actually merged. But had it been a different image, you would have seen the rounded edges. Alrighty, and in fact, let me try and show that to you. If I go to the panel body and let's use some inline style. That's a background of, let's say, hash 333. Okay, let's see if this can actually change the background. Yep, so I'm sure you can actually see the rounded corners now. Cool. I can also change this to image circle. Let's bring the browser up and refresh to see the changes that have reflected now. Image circle, cool. And image thumbnail. Okay. Let's refresh to see the changes. Okay. There's a very subtle border, but again, that subtle border can't be seen because of the background color. THUMB, thumbnail, which is fine. Let me get rid of the inline style. Let's save the changes up. Okay, bring up the browser. Okay. See, there's a very fine border all around the image. Okay, that's the image thumbnail. And yes, I wanted to show you one more thing that actually slipped my mind. There's an element called mark. And let's show you that too. Where's the block quote? I'm looking for the block quote. Pre-scrollable. Okay, rest before you get tired. Dale Carnegie. If I were to place the opening tag before Dale and the closing after Carnegie, okay, it's going to highlight the text. This is yet another new element specific to Bootstrap 3. Let's see the change. Let's refresh. See the way the text has been highlighted. Okay, so this was some additional information that I wanted to add, and I actually came back to do so just in time. So people, I hope you found this additional information informative too. Enjoyed it. You have a good day. Bye bye. Peace.